Today I want to talk to you about a tool called Kustomize. Kustomize is a tool that allows you to write a single time all your Kubernetes manifest files and then have different versions for each of your environments, for example, for production, staging, or test. This means that you are not going to have to write all your manifest files for each of your environments. You just write them once, and then you define these customization files for each of the environments. Kustomize comes built-in kubectl command. However, it is better to download Kustomize apart because the version that it is included in kubectl might be outdated. Kustomize is an alternative to Helm, but in Kustomize, everything that we write is just a plain YAML file, whereas in Helm, we have to use their templating language that is written in Go. This is how it looks like in Helm. This makes us that when we are working with Helm, all the tools that are checking our YAML files are not going to recognize these YAML files as plain YAML files. However, in Helm, we have more functionalities apart from doing these customizations about our manifest files. Helm is also a package manager, and it also allows you to define, because it is using these templates, conditionals, loops, function, and hooks. But this makes us to not be working with valid YAMLs, because Helm is working with this Go templating language. Going back to Kustomize, it is important to notice that when we are running the Kustomize command, we are not going to apply the changes into the Kubernetes cluster. We are just going to generate the manifest files that then we could be using with another tool like kubectl apply or Argo CD or any other tool that allows us to deploy those manifest files into the Kubernetes cluster. In Kustomize, to define these customizations, we have basically two ways to do it. One is to use the common transformers, and the other one is to use patches. Transformers just define general transformations that we are going to apply to our customizations. For example, we might want to apply a prefix to all of our resources in production, let's say -prd. Whereas patches are something more fine-grained. For example, we would like to traverse all the YAML tree and then change some tag that we have defined in one of our resources. In patches, we can apply them in two ways. We can apply them inlining, or we can apply them using a separate file. With inlining, we have the typical kustomize.yaml file in which we are going to define this patch. But with the external file, we are going to just redirect from the customization YAML to another file. Before going to the tutorial, let me present the sponsor of the channel, which is Datapta. Datapta is a consulting company specialized in big data, public cloud, and DevOps. Datapta has a team of experienced engineers who work with the best companies in the world to bring their tech projects to life. If you need to deal with big amounts of data, deploy your infrastructure on the cloud, or automate your deployments, you can email to info@datapta.com or just use their contact form. So let's see a quick example in which we are going to see how we call Kustomize from a scaffold project. In this case, we can see how we are in the production environment in a scaffold. And in this case, to generate the manifest files, we are calling to Kustomize. Here, we are specifying the path of the overlay of the production for the Kustomize. We have to notice that in Kustomize, there's a way to create the manifest for each of the environments by defining overlays folder. So in this case, we have the overlays folder that we are going to follow now here. So we go to overlays, production, and then customization. And inside of this file, we see that we make reference to a base folder. In the base folder that we see here, we have defined all of our resources. So in this case, we can see that there's an ingress, there's a namespace, and then there are these two files which correspond to a deployment and to a service for the frontend and the backend. We are going to see that we also have a customization file. Here, for this customization file, we can see that we define the API version and the kind. This is like all of the manifest files for defining the Kubernetes resources. Then, inside of this same file, we can see all the resources that customization it is going to go through. In this case, we have the list of just the files that we have in the base folder. Going back to our overlays customization file, we can see that we have defined here these general transformations about the name suffix, for example, or namespace or common labels. Let's go one by one. Name suffix means that all the resources that we are going to define in the base folder, we want to put a suffix which indicates that they are from production. Then we are going to say that we don't want to use the generic namespace, but we want to use a namespace with the suffix production. And then for each of the resources, we are going to add also a label that is going to be called env and with the value finlooker PRD. Also very important is this image tag that we can see here. This one allows to change the name that we are using for the images, and in this case we have this generic name that we want to change to liquidity PRD or to frontend PRD. As we can see, we are just adding the suffix PRD. Notice how it is very important that we define this customization YAML file in each of the folders in which customization resources or configurations are placed. Now that we know everything that has to do with Kustomize here in this project, let's make a little bit of an example and call the scaffold and see how a scaffold is going to call to Kustomize. We run the typical command with a scaffold build and then scaffold render. Scaffold render is the one that is going to make the render of the manifest files by invoking Kustomize. So here we run the command, and then we want to see that nothing has been changed. And if we have a look to our cluster, we can see how here for the pods that are related to our frontend and our backend, nothing has changed and the pods haven't been substituted. So in this case, we haven't applied anything by running the Kustomize command. So this has been everything about Kustomize until here. If you want to know how to use a scaffold with Kustomize with more detail, please check out the video from here. And also, if you want to know how to use Jenkins in conjunction with scaffold, you can check this video from here. So please subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next videos. Bye bye.